Live from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studios and the Gurkha Cigar Studios in the great state of New Hampshire, welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Pat Chamberlain.
Guys, I didn't realize that the countdown was that slow, fast, and then you just boom right on the ground. You shut my whole thing off. You fucked it up.
You fucked it up.
You fucked it. All right.
You show up here. You sit down, and I don't know what you did, but you ruined the setup. I don't know.
If you go to the play-by-play.
Play-by-play?
No audio. See, I fucking told you.
What are you talking about? We got audio. It's right here. It's right here. See this? It's a little loud. I mean, that might be because you were screaming. But
you can look at the comments. Okay, now. See, so originally when I said there's no audio, And you're like, that's just you, Pat.
I think it was you. I don't know what was
I
going on with
think-
your mic. My audio is if I've been hearing myself the whole time.
They're still saying no audio. I'm telling you. You fucked it up, Matt.
There's no way we don't have audio. We're not muted. I see all the levels are going. There's no way.
I bet you now it's fine after I said it wasn't on
Gracie
originally.
said now we have it. Yeah, I don't know. Everything's been good on my end, so I don't know what's going on here. Everything's been ready to go.
It's not all about you. That's why.
It's not about me, but
That's why.
I'm steering the ship here, and I'm trying to babysit you at the same time.
Yeah.
Well,
The captain's only as good as the
just
first
in case.
mate.
Well, just in case people didn't hear what was going on, so we started the show.
Matt
and-
fucked everything up.
No, that's not what happened. We started the show, and on Pat's side of the studio. So this is Pat's side of the studio now. We have a new configuration here. This is my half, and then this is his half. He has his desk, he has his monitor, and he has his own shit over there, and I have mine. And so, you know, he has a light over there, and I have a light over here. You can't see them, obviously, it's by design, but there is a light over there that is a little bit dimmer for my liking, but it's okay because you look all right. But you kind of look like you're in the shadows. But regardless, so
Coming from the
Pat's
fucking
yanking,
floating head.
Pat's yanking on his headset cord, and he pulled something, and his whole light died out, and then it got even darker over here. And I'm trying to fix this, and he's like, I don't know what I did. This was your fault. And I'm like, I'm not the one yanking cords out.
I wasn't
so
defensive at first. You were
then I
defensive.
have to, all right, let me do this because, Daddy will take care of it. So I had to unweave the cord and get some slack. And then, he didn't have the mic in the right spot. I don't know what was going on. And then we couldn't get it to turn on because the plug came out.
Because you kicked the plug.
Nope, because it's way over there under your desk. You still haven't looked to see where it is.
You say, because I don't need to know where it is because I didn't touch it. You were like, oh, I'll flick it back on for you. It's right next to my foot.
And I had to
did it.
explain that, when you've done this for 6 years, you kind of know the ins and outs of things that go wrong because this isn't my first rodeo. But you just wanted to be like, I didn't do nothing, even though all the errors happened on your side of the studio.
I think everyone here watching knows what happened.
I think
if it
everybody.
makes you feel better to explain that, that's fine, Matt. That's fine.
Well, I'm gonna finally light my cigar because I've been too busy taking care of you.
I identified the audio problem right off the rip.
Yeah, that's the only thing you did.
And you didn't believe me.
That's the only thing you did. I had to do everything else. I had to fix all your other problems.
You had to fix the problems you caused.
So here's the other thing you guys don't know is that Pat's extra cranky today. Hashtag cranky Pat, because he's always cranky. But he's extra cranky today because he's just a little extra tired. Which, to be on his side, he has every right to be. His regular job is extra strenuous. The life of fighting crime is not for the weak. And Pat has learned that in his first month now. Has it been a month?
It's like 2 months.
2 months? Already? Damn, that was quick. So in his first 2 months as being a prosecutor, he's already learned how exhausting that job can be. And he strolled in here and he's like, I just want to go to bed and wake up and I got this case, which I won't say anything specific to. And then Friday I'm not working, so I'm just gonna go to the gym and then do nothing all day.
I remember what happened is I walked in your household and I said, "What's up, bitch?" And then I complained. So you missed that.
Yeah, you hear that?
Pertinent
You hear
detail.
that? He even admitted he walks into my home, and he's rude.
And I called you a bitch. Yeah. I think it's constructive criticism. Stop being a bitch.
You know what I
Simple.
think? You should stop showing up here looking like the Snuggle teddy bear from the Snuggle ad.
I'm just trying to make this cord longer here. I feel this tension of this fucking headset cord.
I feel the tension of you right now.
It's like, fuck that cord.
Can I get you anything else? Would you like some smoked salmon, some Grey Poupon,
I mean,
maybe a glass of champagne? What can we do to make your stay here more luxurious and comfortable? You want me to get Nicole down here to make you some? I don't know,
I think we're good.
What do you need?
I think we're good now.
Do you need anything else?
Now that you fixed the setup that you fucked up 10 minutes ago, I think we're in a good spot now.
Hold on, let me see if I can. I don't know why this is not being. If I get the cord up like this, maybe and wedge it. There you go. You get a little bit
Oh.
more slack.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. It's all right.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take care. That's another thing I had to fix for you.
Yeah, well, good thing you're the host.
I know. Well, I'm not the only host anymore. You're the co-host, so you're in this with me too, bud. We're like two banditos.
That just
I'm
means,
robbing the store. You're there
that
with
just
me.
means I take all the positive feedback and I redirect the criticism to you.
Yeah. Well, speaking of criticism, I think this is a good segue to remind people that, well, actually, so when we originally announced this, I was not scheduled to be traveling. But then I remembered I'm traveling next week, so we'll do this first week of February, and we'll kick off the next one, same show, our soccer roulette contest, because now I won't be around next week.
Yep.
So, just as a reminder to everybody, we are running the first contest in our monthly Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust hashtag soccer roulette contest that we announced back around the holidays. It's going to begin at the first show of the month, and it will end at the last show of the month. So I started it early for the first one because it was the holidays, and we were really excited to get submissions. So the first one is the Roast of Steve Saka. So, and it's open to anybody, and you can send as many submissions as you'd like, and I will post the link to it in the comments and whatnot too. But you can head over to smokintabacco.com. Comment on any of the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust reviews, or you can send us a contact us submission too, which, especially if you want it to be private or whatever. You can send us a private submission, or just email one of us, whatever you want to do. But the point is send us your best roasts of Steve. There's no limit. There's tons of people who've sent me like 20 of them each. So Nicole has them all, and we're going to pick the best one. And the best one is going to get a box of DTT and a DTT mug. One of the famous mugs, which are, I think they're pretty hard to get, right? You can't just get those, right? Those are like event exclusives.
Yeah,
or something.
events and stuff like that, yeah.
And then every month we'll be doing the same thing for those who, might have missed out on this announcement. So, but the contest will change. So the contest for February we will announce in February with the conclusion of this one. But it'll be a different contest. So this month's the Roast of Saka. Next month will be a different kind of contest, and so on and so forth. We're going to do this all year long, all the way to the end of the year. So every month there's a new chance to win a box of DTT. It will be random. I'm going to say this from my experience with contests and raffles, for that matter, because we do the big raffle every year for CFCF. And I have to answer. You'd be surprised how many times I have to answer this question. Like, can I pick the prize? No. Well, first of all, in regards to this, it's random. There's a whole bunch of different stuff in a box. It's going to be at random. I don't want to get into letting people pick out of what's left, because then no. I'm not going to do that. The fairest way is just we grab something. This is what you're getting. Once you start letting people pick, then I don't want to get into that. Just like with the raffle, they're like, can I only put in raffle tickets for like the 3 best prizes? And I'm like, no, it's a general donation. You have to buy tickets for everything, and if you get picked for what you get picked for. And how many times I've gotten the emails after, and they're like, I won a like a ashtray from like Drew Estate, and they're like, can I trade that in for like something else? And I'm like, no, because someone got picked for that item. So like, you got what you got, and they got that item. I'm like, well, can we make a trade? I'm like, if the two of you guys want to find each other after you get your prizes, and you want to make an exchange, which I doubt he's going to make that exchange with you for that. So, and you do that, and you facilitate that on your own, that has nothing to do with me. But no, like, someone got every prize is claimed for automatically. So no, you can't do that. And people get all pissed, and they're like, well, that's stupid. And I'm like, have you never done a raffle before? Like, that's how it works. Like, that's nothing new that I invented. Like, that's what a raffle is. You get picked for a prize, and that's it. You don't go, I won the trip for 5 to Jamaica, but I'd rather have the brand new Tahoe. So what can we do? It's like, you got the trip to Jamaica. That's what you got. So the guy with the Tahoe is like, I'm taking the Tahoe. Fuck that. I don't like to travel. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are just so, I don't know. And we do these things for like good reasons. We're like excited. We get people have fun. And then there's always that one guy who's got to come in and be like, I'm gonna ruin this because I'm an asshole. And it's like, okay, we're gonna ruin the party. Like a wet fart in church. Like, come on, guy.
Right.
Don't take it away from someone else. He's excited. Why are you gonna like shit on his day? Make him feel bad that he won something cool. You know? I don't know. Sometimes when and that's not an exaggeration. Let me just say this. Ask Coop, ask Abe DeBobna, ask all these other people who do these things, like contests and raffles and big events. Ask them. Say, how many ridiculous messages do you get from people after, like, you know, they win something or they get picked for something or they get involved in something? And I'll bet you the first thing out of their mouth is not even going to be a sentence, a word, or a phrase. It's going to be, that's the first thing that all of them are going to say. It's not even going to be a word. It'll just be, where do I begin? It's strenuous, to say the least. And I will say, you know, 99% of everybody out there is great. But there's always that small little majority of, like, that small little minority of, like, hey, I just want to complain. And it's like, okay. What can I do for you? I don't know. It's just it comes with the job. But
we previewed everything that's in the giveaway box.
We did.
I think everything in there is.
It's good.
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't complain about anything that's.
I wouldn't, and I think most hardcore DTT fans wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
But you know, there's that one guy who's like, "Well, I don't like Sin Compromiso. I like Sin Compromiso." It's like, Sin Compromiso is a great box. I mean, are you really gonna complain? Like, come on, like. So just know that if you get picked, you get what you get, and if you don't like it, then you know what?
Then I'll take it.
Give it to Pat or call Steve. It'd be like, Steve, I don't want this. He'll be like, well, I'll take it back if you don't want it, because I can sell it to somebody. Or Pat does the better impression, I think, but he won't. I think he's too tired to do it today. Come on, Pat, give me a little Steve. Just a
I
little.
don't know. I feel like I need to have more energy to be Steve right now.
Come on, just give me one. Just give me one little. Just give me a little sip. Come on.
Well, yeah.
There it is.
If you don't want it, then someone else definitely wants it. I'm not worried about that. But if I'm not gonna ship something else over to you, why would I do that?
He would probably also say, I mean, I don't blame him. The cigars aren't that great, but I don't know. I make them, but
It's not that great. But that's me saying that. Like mine not great is like this other company's fucking best cigar. It's not great. But
I know. Anyway, sorry. The point is, enter, win some free, cool, good shit, and then enter again. And the thing is that I will say, I mean, not that I'm trying to have repeat winners, but I mean, if you win the first month, I mean, try again the next month too. Like, I'm not like, if you win the first month, like, don't just think like, that's it. Like, not that I'm trying to pick the same guy every time, because I mean, I want everyone a chance to try to win, but I want everyone to always participate too. So don't just be like, okay, I'm tapping out. I mean, just so I know there's rules out there. Be like, well, am I out now? Or like, well, I mean, technically, no. Can't guarantee you're gonna get picked again, but I want everyone to participate. So I'll answer that question live too. But outside of that, we'll deal with that next 2 weeks from now. The other thing, I mean, recent we haven't really talked about, and I'm not gonna really. Our awards in top 25, cigar of the year, all that stuff. It's all out now. It's all been announced. I'm gonna do a breeze through it. So normally, what we do for cigar of the year is, we do the show, we do the whole list. And this year, I just said, something. I don't want to do that. I just want everyone to go to the website, read it. Because if I'm being honest with you, I mean. The show is a show, but there's a lot of content now that I would rather prefer just be on the website for certain things. And I think that a lot of that stuff, should be showcased there. So that's kind of where it is. But that doesn't mean that we won't talk about it here. The hardcore, like, why and everything, it's for the real in-depth of every piece is going to be on there. But I'm going to breeze through it. I'm not going to go through all the 25 cigars, but we're going to talk about some of them. I mean, obviously we talk about cigar of the year is the 30th anniversary Perdomo Sun-Grown Epicure, which was a great cigar. It scored very high. If you look at the rankings and the scores on some of the stuff we had on the website, that and the Maduro version were the top two scores last year. And the Maduro actually originally, when the list was in its rough draft, was number 2. But the Maduro and resmokes seem to be inconsistent. And so I made the executive decision to, I think it has to move down. It was great in the beginning and it was great in the review. And then, we all kind of smoked it again, and it was good, but it wasn't. Something had changed with it. I don't know what. I mean, we all bought different batches. I mean, you got yours from one place, and I got mine from out of another box. And it fell just outside the top 10. I think it was like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
So it made the list, but there was some inconsistencies, and for that reason, I felt like, well, I mean, you can't be number 2 and have inconsistencies across 3 different people. So ultimately it moved, but once again, I think for the third time, and it sucks because it happens this way. Like it just happens. But Pete Johnson got number 2 with the Tatuaje LLE Reserva Broadleaf, the Lonsdale, the box press Lonsdale. Great cigar, which you reviewed. And we've smoked a handful of times. I think we still have some left. Great.
Yeah.
Great size. The T110 broadleaf years ago, I believe, was number 2 or number 3. And then I think there was another year Pete came in second. And it's like, I started thinking about it. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I think about it after. And I'm like, Pete's just like right there. And I'm like, one of these years, he's just going to have to get it. Because, I mean, he comes so close. It's like, damn, and he makes great stuff. And then, so on and so forth. Another highlight from the list that we had was United. United is, why is it like not coming to? Oh, La Giana Havana 30th anniversary, the barber pole, was great. For the money, I want to say the box is like $208 for a box of 20. It's made in the excuse me. It's made in Davidoff's Honduras factory. It smokes very well. It smokes way above its price point. It was a cigar that really impressed Nicole and myself at PCA and all year after that. I spoke to Oliver Nouveau yesterday, and he was really like, he was like, I want you to know, like, I really appreciate that being on the list. And I said, yeah, I thought it was fantastic. We all did. And, after, seeing everyone's list, I'm like, I didn't see it anywhere else. And I don't think it's because no one else thought it was a good cigar. I just don't think it got discovered enough. And he was like, yeah, it's out there, but it was nice. And I was like, I wish more people knew about it. I feel like it's not because it wasn't good enough. I think it was just because no one knew about it. And I'm like, I don't know why that is. So I wish more people knew about that cigar, because I think it's a very banging cigar for the price point. And it was delicious. It was fantastic. So yeah, I mean, that's the top part of our list this year. It's always hard to put the list together, and this was kind of like your first year kind of really getting into that. And next year will be different, but it's a mountain of a project to build that list. It really is. And every year I'm like, oh, it's almost time, and then I'm like, I remember how strenuous this can be. And then we get it done, and then I'm just like, all right, is it good? And I reread it 15 times, and I check it again, and I check it again, and then I second guess the list. I'm like, and I'll move one here and there, and I'm like, all right, this has got to be it. And they finally get, it's kind of like Steve. It's like, I keep tweaking it, and I'm never really fully happy with it, but I get to a point where I'm like, if I don't publish it, if I don't finalize on something, I'll have nothing to publish. So I'm like, I have to finalize on it. And you know what it is like, half the list is like, you definitely know where it goes, and then the other half, it's like, it's on the list, but it's like, is it here or is it here? And it's like within a few spots. And I think that's what makes it so finicky. But anyway, the list is out. You can read it on SmokinTabacco.com, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, and then we'll talk about some of the awards. But before we get too into it, let's talk about some of the things that help make this show happen. That's right. It's like our friends at the number 2guyscigars.com Head over there today to find an amazing selection of cigars and cigar accessories, including both of the cigars that we're smoking tonight. I'm going to let you go first, Grumpy, because you're having a rough day.
So I am smoking the Diamond Crown Connecticut.
That's a
Forget
Robusto?
what size. No, it's the classic. Oh no, that's the name.
I was going to say, yeah, that's the Diamond Crown Classic.
The double Robusto.
The double, yeah. You okay?
Yeah, it's.
You just called the size the name of the blend.
I am slowly malfunctioning right now.
Do you need to get up and go take a walk?
I'm good.
All right.
If I had more space, I would just spin in the chair a little bit. But
Are you one of those kids in school that, like,
No.
you just were like this in the classroom all day? Just, like, moving
No.
around, like,
I'm not.
touching everything? I mean, I know, no BS. I know you're super smart and you're, like, you did well in school. I mean, you put yourself through law school. So, I mean, you're not stupid. So, I know, like, you got shit done in school. But at the same time, but having said that, I feel like you were the kid in class who was like, as much as you like paid attention and you were smart and you got your shit done, you were also like somewhat distracting. I don't know why.
I chewed crayons.
Did you? See, I'm not surprised. I would believe that because I'm like, yeah, I feel like Pat would do something like that.
Yeah.
You were the kid like with the eraser on the pencil, just like hitting shit all day, being like, you were listening, but you were doing something stupid the whole time. You had like the ruler. Remember the plastic ruler? And you'd go like this, and you go like, bong.
You have a lot of concrete examples of.
I was also one of those kids. That's why.
Okay.
I know all the tricks. That's why I'm like, I think, I know the tricks, but you look like one of those kids.
I don't remember. Probably.
You don't remember?
I don't.
You're younger than me. You're closer to school than I was. I mean, for Christ's sakes, you just graduated from school. I've been out of school for 5 years. 6. If you count trade school. But, yeah. I don't know. Even in trade school, man, that was tough. It was dry. It was cold. 5th year, you have to go at night after work. So you get up 4 o'clock. You go into town. You work all day in the cold. And then you got to go down south of Boston to the school for 4 hours in a warm classroom. Remember, you were out in the cold all day. And you got up at 4 in the morning. Now, from like 4 to 8 p.m., you go to a warm classroom. Let me tell you something. You try staying awake to save your life. Because if you fall asleep, they're like, hey, get out. So it's like, you can't even fall asleep. They kick you out of school. So you're sitting there and you're like, what the fuck? And you're just like, And they're like talking about the driest shit. They're like, we're going to go into the code here. In Article 210.15, whatever. And they're like, electrical installation. And you're like, dude, I'm literally going to kill myself. I'm like, this is horrible. So yeah, I know. It was rough. It was rough. Trying to pay attention. And because I have ADD, so it's like, I'm already fucked. You know what I mean? I'm already at a disadvantage. I'm already disabled. So I'm like, you're sending me in there. I don't know what to do. It was horrible. I also never really liked school. I couldn't do it. Like I was like, I just give it to me and like let me figure it out. I can't sit there and listen to you tell me what to do. I'm like, I need to do it myself. I can't be told like I have to figure it out. I just can't. My brain doesn't absorb it like that. I'm like, I'm going to go do it myself. Like, more efficient that way. So.
Valid.
I was horrible in school. I'll admit it to you now. But I was at a disadvantage. I'm damaged up here. That's why I'm here, and that's why I do this. I don't know why you're here, but that's why I'm here. See what I mean? I get on that tangent, and I'm like, I don't even know like what happened here. But like this is why. It's just an example of why I'm like this. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just trying to take some of it off of you. Don't worry, I'm not done with you. Before we're done, I'm gonna put the nail in the coffin. But I'm building something here. It's okay. You know why? I got a phone call today that I didn't, it was random, and I answered the phone call. Didn't really know why I was getting this phone call. Not that I was complaining about it, but I was like, why is he calling me? And it actually was, it was good information, and it was and I was like, I actually am going to follow up with you at a better time when I have more time. But I'm really glad that you brought this to my attention. And then it abruptly just was like, okay, that's it, I'm done. I said what I had to say, and then he left. Guess who that was? Cigar industry person. It was a little out there. See if you can figure it out.
Are you saying that they are a little out there, or the
Yeah, they are. They are a little out there as a person. Great guy.
Matt Booth?
First try. I was driving to one
Is
of
that
my...
who it is?
Yeah. I was driving to one of my jobs today, and I was in my truck. And
Is he gonna be offended that I?
No,
Oh,
Matt
that's
doesn't get
it.
offended. So you're worried that he's going to be offended.
He's a little bit out there, Matt Booth.
Dude, I think everyone would agree that he's a little bit out there. So I'm driving in my truck today, and I'm like 10 minutes out. And, I get the screen, and I see his face pop up, and it's like, oh, like, my reaction is not like, what does he want? Like, I'm like, oh, like, that's random. Like, this is interesting. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, why would he be calling me at this random time in the day? Like, I don't know, maybe he needs, I know he's going to TP next week. Maybe he wants to ask about TP. So I answer the phone, I'm like, hey, what's up? What's going on? And, I get the Matthew Tobacco, if that is your real name. And I'm like, we've been here 100 times. I'm like, yeah, it's my real name. I still don't believe you. I'm like, I know you don't. I'm like, what's going on? And then he told me about, it was kind of a personal thing, not like anything super serious, but it was a somewhat personal topic. And he's like, oh, I was doing something today for Grayson, his son, and I was thinking of other young parents, and I thought of you. And he's like, I have this advice that I want to like instill upon you because I think you and Nicole should do it for your child. And I was like, okay. And it was a financial thing. It was good. It was great. Like, I was like, wow, that's actually very fucking useful information. And I'm actually going to do that. Like, I really appreciate you telling me this. He was like, yeah, man. I was like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's so random that you just thought, like, I got to call Matt Tobacco and tell him, like, to do this. And he told me, like, and I was like, all right. So then I asked a couple questions, like, well, how do you do this, whatever. And then I said, all right. I said, well, I'm on the road. Like, when I'm at my desk and I can sit down and go over my financial stuff, I may call you for, like, some more, clarification on this stuff, whatever. But, and he's like, yeah, whatever you need. And then he was like, okay, but I must go. And then that was it. And then the call ended. And I was like, oh, okay. Not like, hey, how you doing? Like, that was it. It was like, okay, I got to go now. I'm like, so he calls me. He instills some information. And then he's like, I got to go. And I'm like, all right, bye. And that was it. And I'm like, it was random. It was good, but it was fucking random. And I was like, oh, okay. And out of everybody that came to mind, I was the one, he's like, I got to call Matt Tobacco and be like, you got to do this. And I'm like, that's what I mean. He's great, but it's like me, okay? Out of everybody he knows, I'm like, me. All right. Thank you. I mean, I hope I wasn't the only one. It's good information, and I will share it with some people privately. But, yeah, man. I mean, my point being, see, this is what I'm talking about. I get off on these tangents. My point being is when you get a little bit of dose of Matt, sometimes it's like you take a little bit of like a pill of it, and then it's like it's with you all day. And like now I'm off the rails because like he rattled me today. You know what I mean? So now I'm like off because like I got blindsided by Matt. It's like I'm feeling edgy. It's weird. I don't know. It's an amazing phenomenon that goes on when you're around him. It's crazy. It rubs off sometimes, not all the time. I can feel it right now. I don't know why, but it's hit me. I think it's because you're so tired that you're not bringing enough energy to the show, and I feel like I'm having to overcompensate for you. See what I mean? I'm gonna keep like pulling.
True.
Yeah. See what I'm doing here? I'm a professional. I've been doing stuff like this for a long time, so it's alright. You'll get there.
I'll get there. I'll get there.
Anyway.
Not today, but I will get there.
So Pat's smoking the Diamond Crown Classic size Double Robusto.
Yeah.
And I'm smoking the Aganorsa Leaf Rare Leaf Reserve Lonsdale. I love this size.
That should go on.
I love this size. This is a great fucking cigar, and it's a great size. The thinner ring gauges, and we talk about it all the time, thinner ring gauges are great because obviously, you get more of the wrapper because you have less of that filler in the binder that, from, not that, the thicker ring gauges like the 50s and the 52s and the, so on and so forth are great. And believe me, I smoke a lot of those, and it's arguably probably one of my more regular sizes, but people who know me know I love Lanceros, and I really like Lonsdales and skinnier-ish, Churchills. But especially, like Lonsdale's, some of my favorites. When they're done right, they're really great because it's a good ratio, and if it's blended correctly, you get a lot more of the wrapper in there too, and I think it really enhances the experience. And the Rare Leaf Reserve is no exception. This is a great cigar. I'm pretty sure Dave carry. I know they carry that. I'm pretty sure they carry this size. I know they carry that. So head over to number2guyscigars.com today and order some of these cigars because they are fantastic cigars. And then, as always, riding along with us, our friends from SC Dupont. That's right. Shake Up the Legacy, featuring the Line 2, SC Dupont, and the SC Dupont cigar rest. You have one too. Yours is gold. Mine's silver. Cigar rest cutter. Best cutter I ever used. It's the sharpest cutter. Have you ever noticed that? It's the sharpest cutter you've ever used. And believe me, look, they're a sponsor, and they know how I feel, even outside of that. I've been using their products way before they ever had their name on the show. But, I use Zycar and Paleo cutters. I mean, some of my, when I would say outside of Dupont, the number 2 accessory I use all the time is probably Zycar. I got a lot of XOs and XI1s and all those that I've had for years, and they're great. They cut very well, and they're sharp for cigar cutters. They're not shit, But this thing, I'm telling you, you could chop your finger off pretty easily. Like, this thing's no joke.
Stays sharp too.
It does. It stays. And that thing is sharp, and it stays sharp. I've had this one since it came out, 2018, I think, when this first came out.
Sounds right.
And I got it right after it came out. So I've had this whole time. This is way before I smoked tobacco. This is before obviously they were I've owned this for years, and it is still as sharp as the day that I acquired it. It is fantastic. It doesn't have no issues. Every once in a while, I'll wipe it down just because I think people should, because things get gross. But no, it still cuts. It's phenomenal. So, SC Dupont, check them out. It's good stuff. It'll last you a lifetime. Just saying. Getting back to the show. So, top 25. Speaking of Aganorsa Leaf, the Arsenio was on the list too, which I thought was a great cigar. There was a couple of releases from Aganorsa this year. I thought Arsenio was probably, obviously, the best. It was the only one that made the list. You really liked that cigar too, I remember.
I liked it, but construction issues of Aganorsa this year is why I didn't.
It was further down. Yeah, it was further down the list. And again, there was some cigars that still made the list, and despite some minor issues, they were still good enough to make the list. But that was one of those ones that started out higher, and then it worked its way down on resmokes. Same reason. Same with the Perdomo 30th, the Maduro. It was like, in the beginning, it was like, wow, these are great, scored high. And then it's like you do the resmokes at the end of the year, and you keep smoking. Like, you smoked them. I smoked a few more, and it was like, oh. Like, I remember the first 5 I smoked. I'm like, wow, these were really good. And then I smoked them again, and they were good. They were still a great cigar, but, there was a few times where, I had some minor issues, and I'm like... And you take into consideration the severity of the issues, and it wasn't like, oh my god, that's unsmokable, or this is really bad. It was still, it performed well enough to make the list, but it was like, I have to move this down now because there's plenty of other cigars that are performing better. And that's, again, where putting the list together it's tricky, because you're trying to re-gauge certain things in real time as you're putting this list together. But I was impressed. The last few years, I will say... I remember probably before you started smoking, when Aganorsa was executing very well. Very, very well. And the last couple of years, they've just been kind of off. I haven't felt like Aganorsa's been what it was not too long ago. And that's not to say that they're trash or they're really bad, because I'm not saying that at all. But they've had some they've had some obstacles to overcome. And having said that, I think the Arsenio was one of the cigars that, outside of probably like the Supreme Leaf, because I think the Supreme Leaf, for the most part, every year has been pretty good. I don't think every size is probably as good as others or whatever in that, but that's to be expected. But for the most part, in a nutshell, they've all performed pretty well. But some of the stuff they've done the last couple of years has just been a little bit disappointing because it's not what I was used to. This cigar, pretty damn good. I think it was on our list last year. But the Arsenio, when I smoked the Arsenio, I'm like, all right. I'm like, this is getting better. I like this. This was done well. I really liked, the blend, the taste, everything about it. And you mentioned it. Nicole mentioned it. And I'm pretty sure Mitchell mentioned it too. Mitchell, by the way, I was in touch with recently, and he's doing okay. He's getting more information on his situation, which I won't get into. I can confirm that as of, without saying too much because it's really not my business, but just to put people at ease, so far, after some more searching, still no major issues with Mitchell. So he had another thing he went through today, and it went very well, and they didn't find anything serious. So there's that. So, I mean, I guess until something else comes up, for those who remember Mitchell and his situation, he's okay. He's still trying to figure out his medical issue, but just so everyone knows, he's doing good. He's doing good, and he's okay. I spoke to him today. We miss him a lot, and update on Mitchell. But I think he was another one that mentioned that because I believe he had smoked a few of those before he took his sabbatical from cigar smoking. And then of course we have all the awards. My Father, Factory of the Year, again. I mean, what can I say now that I didn't already say in my write-up? I mean, look, you look at My Father and not just like their own stuff, but they make cigars for a lot of people. I mean, you know this. And whether it's their own stuff, it's Tatuai stuff for Pete, or it's stuff they make for Ashton, stuff they make for Crown Heads, or so on and so on and so forth. I mean, you continue to see these cigars that are getting celebrated. They perform well. They taste great. They're some of my favorites. They're favorites of many people's. I mean, just everything about every product that they're releasing, no matter what it is, it's showing off itself. And I think that's only part of the reason. I think there's a lot of things you could say, but that I think is the biggest thing is the products that you move out of your production facility that go to stores and then they perform and they sell. I mean, that's got to be number one. They produce great products. On top of that, it's all the things that make them that way, from their growing and the care of the tobacco, and it's just everything they do. They continue to execute flawlessly, and it was a tough decision, but ultimately they had the most cigars on the list out of that factory. They some of the cigars placed high on the list. And then you take that information, then you do a broader look at the industry and some of the performance on the other stuff. And look, they aced a lot of the things that we look into. And I'm like, they're here again. It's like, how can you ignore it? So they got Factor of the Year, Company of the Year, J.C. Newman. And there was a lot of reasons for that. J.C. Newman, they've done amazing with some of their projects they've been working on. Especially a lot of stuff that Drew's been overseeing. I thought was great. They've been doing a lot in the community, the local community. They got their Cigar Workers Park, and they've been doing a lot of things around the area. Restoring places. I know they're working on that
Hotel.
The hotel. I'm thinking the name. Is it Sanchez? Something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they have the hotel that they're restoring. Yep. That's part of it too. They're working on that. Obviously, everything they do with CFCF. The Leroy Neiman cigars, that I think this is the second run that they've done this year.
Yep.
And that money goes to the Tampa Arts for arts in the Tampa schools. And so there's just a lot of different things. Just outside of the great stuff they do with tobacco, their other stuff has been extraordinary as well. And it was a high runner on the list. And I ultimately when I me and made the final decision. I said, yeah, JC. They have a lot of different things going on, and it's good stuff. And it's because they do a lot of non-direct, cigar and tobacco stuff. They do a lot of great stuff, obviously, with their products. So everything about them as an organization, it was really well. So just another congratulations to them. Just keep on doing what they're doing, and then of course, person of the year went to Pete Johnson, which, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I see Coops here listening too. Coop and I have had this conversation. I mean, Pete's a guy who's come up in this consideration several times over the last few years, and again, it's tough. It's tough to give this to someone. You get down to like 5 people where they're all great guys and there's great things. But you gotta pick one, and Pete's been in that conversation every year for like the last 3, maybe 4 years. And this year, I just said, something. I just keep going back to Pete and a lot of the stuff he's been doing, and just really impressed with, the big picture stuff, the little stuff he's been doing, and it felt like this was his year really, and so hats off to Pete, person of the year, congratulations. Accessory of the year went to SC Dupont Biggie, which you have right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lighter that I know everybody here loved all year long. I loved it. You're still using it every day, sounds like. Nicole loves that. Nicole asked me because I had one on loan. I had to send it back. Nicole was like, "Oh, what happened to the Biggie?" I'm like, "I sent it back because we wrote it." She was like, "Oh, I like that lighter." And I was like, and then I got it back because when I did the review, I needed them to send it back to me because I didn't have one. I said, "Can you send me another Biggie again? I gotta take photos I did a review on it." And they were like, "Oh yeah." So I had it for like 2 weeks while I was doing photos, and Nicole was like, "Where's that Biggie lighter?" And I was like, "It's down in the studio," and she was using it. I'm like, "Don't drop it or anything. We don't own it." But she was only like, "Oh, I gotta use that lighter." And now you have one, so yeah, it's probably been our most talked about, our favorite, our highest scoring accessory. And I'll tell you, man, that flat flame, and I know you love it too. That flat flame is just something about it. And I'm a soft flame guy. I've been a soft flame guy for like 3 years straight now. It's not that I don't use torches, but I predominantly use soft flame just every day. I love that flat flame. I don't know what it is, but it's just something about it. I love it. It lights great. So I think that's it. I think that's all the awards that went out. So I think that covers everything. That's our awards this year. Like I said, Breeze in a nutshell. I don't want to go too in deep with it because I want you to go to the website and read about it. So if you want more information, you want to understand better, head over to smokingtobacco.com. You can read all about Cigar of the Year, Accessory of the Year, Factory of the Year, all of them. They're all up there on the website. So that's just my brief overview of the awards this year. Another thing I was going to discuss on the show tonight was we were supposed to meet with Cigar Rights of America, but that had to be rescheduled. But we're going to be meeting with, I want to say, Mike Copperman and Cody, I forget his last name, from Cigar Rights of America. They're going to be coming on in the next few weeks and getting caught up with them. I don't think we've ever had Cigar Rights of America on the show, but it's long overdue, and they're going to be coming on the show, especially with you here. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions for them. So I'm looking forward to that. Timeline of events. We got TPE next week. To be honest with you, hasn't really been any TPE announcements. And I fly out in less than a week. Very quiet this year. Last couple of years, you have some announcements or whatever. There has been barely, I don't think, any announcements. Maybe one.
Yeah, I think Rocky.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think that's it. So, I'm going. This might be the last year I go. And I'm only going because other things didn't fall into place. So, I said, fuck it, I'll just go to TPE and do some stuff there. Just to be quite honest with everybody. But other than that, this might be the last year I go to TP. It's become irrelevant, I think, this year. I think this is really the last. I think this will be the last year for most cigar people. Like, I was looking at the map, and there's enough people there where I'm like, I'm going to go, but I think after this year, I would be surprised to see the same amount of people at TP in 2026. So, like I said, I think this is the last year I'll go, and then it's just going to be PCA and other things that I want to do. So, we want to do. But yeah, then we got PCA. So probably in the next 2 weeks, we're probably going to start, getting the announcements and hearing, what's coming to PCA and getting more updates. PCA's been slowly releasing some stuff. They announced some of the events and the sponsors that they have. So it's a little early, but stuff will be coming. It's that time of year. It's quiet. It's after the holidays. Everyone's having their national sales meetings right now. There's not much going on, but very quickly it's going to turn around because PCA is right around the corner, and then it's going to be insane in New Orleans, who is under snow right now, which I thought was funny. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans and Florida, they got snow. I don't think Miami got snow, but the northern half of Florida, they got snow. And I was like, haha, I don't feel so bad now. Because they got it too. And I'm like, wow, New Orleans got fucking snow? They got 10 inches in Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
They got 10 inches of snow. I was like, holy shit. A dusting, I'd be like, that's nuts. I'm like, they got 10 inches. They got more snow than we did.
Yep.
I was like, damn. Although, this morning, when I started my truck to take Anastasia to school, it was negative 4 degrees. So it still sucks. But I'm just glad we're not the only people getting snow. All the people down south, they got snow too. So, yeah. It sucks, but I don't feel bad for you because we deal with it a lot more than you do. So hopefully there's no snow when we get there because it'll be April and hopefully there's no snow up here. But the idea is to get away from the shitty weather up here. So I'm hoping it'll still be nice. I just hope it doesn't rain. It sounds to me the PCA is banking on all of their events being outside for PCA because of the smoking situation.
Yep.
And we've been saying it already. If it rains, God help them. Because all of that's ruined. And there's nowhere else to go. I mean, unless you all want to go find... I mean, there's cigar shops in town, but I don't think they're all big places.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to cram into all the lounges? Fuck that. Fuck that. I'll just go back to my hotel room. Or I'll go do touristy stuff. Vegas is cool because no matter what, you can go into a casino and you can smoke.
Well, yeah.
For the most part, right? But when you're say New Orleans where you really can't smoke anywhere, it's well, if you can't smoke outside and one of the extremely few designated indoor smoking areas you can't smoke at, then I guess I'm just not smoking tonight. I'm gonna go do something else. I'm gonna go maybe hang out at a bar and just have a drink. I don't know. I don't know what to do. This is weird. I'm so used to go to the trade show and just smoke the whole fucking time because I can. But if we get down there and it's raining all week and there's nowhere to go smoke after the show, I'm gonna be like, what am I gonna do? I guess I'm just not smoking cigars here because I can't. It's gonna be shitty. So let's hoping for clear skies. Unless the PCA comes out, hey, we got something going on, we got a place. All right, cool. But so far, the word on the street is everything's outdoor. So I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. You've been awfully quiet over there.
Long week at work so far.
I've had a long week too. Why don't you enlighten us? What's been so damaging to you today?
I can't disclose details, but it is.
I love a good juicy story.
Yeah.
That's what's disappointing. As I know that you have something, but you're not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, I can't.
Damn it. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
It's like a highway robbery. With four guys rob a bank with a pregnant woman or something, and one of them, I don't know. I can only imagine. It's always something wild. All your stories, there was one time I heard something. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Involved an old lady. I don't know. What I will say is, never underestimate elderly people. Just because they're elderly, that doesn't mean that they can't be involved in a violent crime. That's all I'm going to say. Don't be like, oh, look at that old lady. She's like 85. Like, there's no way she killed that guy. Of course she could have. It happens every day. It happens every day. Doesn't it, Pat?
I wouldn't say it every day,
But it happens.
should happen.
Yeah, shit happens. Shit happens. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you come into the studio, you fuck up the light, you fuck up the headset, and then you just don't say anything.
I think
I think you're pissed now. I feel like you just don't want to contribute. Are you mad?
no. I think
You okay?
I think you fucked up the light.
Do you need a
in
hug?
the studio? No.
All right. What's going on?
I need some caffeine injections.
Dude, you
Well, I
need,
need-
like, I don't know. You're how old? You're like 26?
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't start getting, like, dead energy till I had a child.
See, I don't have dead energy. It's just
It's coming.
it's been long days.
Dude, it's coming.
These past few days, yeah.
You want to know what it's like to feel like you're almost ready to die? Have a child. It's
Yeah,
exhausting.
I'm not at that level yet, but
Don't do it. Don't listen to these people. Oh, you should do it. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. But if you don't have to do it, don't do it. Oh, man, it's exhausting. It's great. Like, my child is my favorite thing in the world. Hands down. But, you know, it's a lot. And you can't take any days off. So just remember, when you're out there playing around, there's consequences for your actions. Be careful, because one day it's going to hit you. Like, Pat, haha, fun's over. And you're going to go, fuck.
then I'll get random phone calls from Matt Booth.
And then you're going to get phone calls from Matt Booth being like, this is what you need to do to set your child up for success. And I'll be like, oh, thanks. Thank you. Thank you. No, it was a good phone. I was like, I didn't know you could do that. And he was like, yeah. So, which essentially, and I really won't get too into it, but what it was he was telling me about opening up, I forget what it's like a Roth account. It's a Roth IRA account that you set up as a trust. I can't remember. But essentially, you can add your child to. You can set this up for your child, and you add your child to your business as an employee at any age, and you basically pay them like a salary or like a paycheck kind of thing officially through your business, and you put it away, and employee payroll tax deduction number one. But at the same time, you're also putting money away for them that continues to build and grow over time. It is a little more complicated than that, but essentially that was the gist of it. And he was like, yeah, man, tell people. The point of it was that he told me this random information that was good information, but I was just so caught off guard that he would take time out of his day to call and be like, I need you to know this. And I was like, I'm very happy that you gave me this information because it is useful and I will use it. But I was like, wow, I was not expecting that. I figured he would call me to be like, hey man, I saw you did this thing on Instagram or whatever, or oh, are you going to TPE? I want to do this. No, it had nothing to do with cigars. It had nothing to do with anything that he would remotely. You would think he would call me for it. It was I need you to know about this bank account thing that you got to do for your kid with your business. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he started asking me well, so how was the company? What kind of company formation? And which I'm not going to get into because it's nobody's business. But and then we started talking about it. And he's like, oh well. And then he had other stuff. And I said, well, we can get into that separately. And then we finished the conversation. And he was like, I must go. And then, like a genie, he just poof, and he was gone. I was like, okay, bye. I had things to do anyway, but I was just like, okay. It was like, hello, here's some information. I must go. And then it was over. Just as mysterious as he arrived, he vanished. And I was like, all right, I gotta go do shit anyway, but okay, goodbye. And that was it. It was random. And that's the thing with Matt. That's why he's good people's, because he does good things, but he does it in a very different way. very strange way. You know. Have you met Matt? I forget. I feel
can't
like
say
he
if
was
I-
up
I've-
here recently.
I definitely haven't seen him recently. I feel like over the past 5 years, I probably...
I feel like he was up here recently. Wasn't he? I feel like I saw him at Twins not too long ago. Because I
definitely
remember
didn't see
saying,
him
like, oh, wow, what
recently.
the fuck is he doing up here? Like, that's random.
He might have been around. I didn't see him recently. I might have seen him at the 23 trade show, but other than that, I don't think I saw him recently.
I said to him, I was like, you got to get up to the Northeast. He's like, I go, no, you need to get up to the Northeast. Like, you got to get up here, dude. Like, do something. Get in, like, do something. Get up here. He's like, well, we've never really been strong up there. I'm like, well, make it strong. You're you. Like, get up here. Do something. So I'm trying to encourage him to, make his way up to the great Northeast. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully he comes. I'm like, why is it I always have to travel elsewhere to see you? Like, you don't ever come to me. I always travel to you. Well, I know. It's... what am I going to do? I think, though, that when you come to your first trade show with us, I think that you, as I did with Mitchell, and I did, with others. Actually, no, I think it was only Mitchell. You interview him all alone. No prep, no help. I hit play. I walk away. You're all alone with him in front of a camera that's sitting and record. And I walk away and I go have a conversation with somebody. You're on your own. Let me tell you something. It don't sound like a big deal, but you'll see. It is. And whatever that camera records, I'm putting online. So go back and watch the old ones. You'll know. It gets weird. He tried to grope me one time. You don't even want to know what he did to Mitchell. Mitchell will tell you. I don't know if he's, he'll tell you. It gets weird. So you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. I'm telling you right now. You're in for a treat. I just happened to look over it. Chuck asked, is there any FDA updates? Yes, there are updates. And Pat, I don't know if you have had the opportunity to catch up on it. Probably not, because you've had your own legal shit to deal with.
Within the past week, no.
No. There are updates. I will bring it up. You know what? Let me bring it up on our screen so you can just see it. But I do have, actually right here at the top, the FDA has withdrawn the flavored cigar ban. Now, this is one that the PSA sent out. I've seen them from several different people. CRA sent one out. They've actually pulled back on their flavored menthol cigarettes as well as cigars. I mean, PSA is going to talk about cigars, but it sounds like all flavored tobacco they've withdrawn on, that they're not going to go after it, which is interesting because, it's been all about, flavored. That was like the next thing, like, oh, we're coming after flavored. And then this notice pops up, which is interesting. If you need me to scroll, let me just scroll for you. That's pretty much the whole thing. And that's just what PC had to say. I got more. But yeah, so the FDA has withdrawn its attack, I guess, on flavored cigars. And I haven't really researched it in depth, so I don't have all the nitty gritty. But in a memo from the PCA, they wrote that they commend the recent decision by the FDA to withdraw its proposed tobacco product standard for characterizing flavors in cigars rule. This quick move, made under the leadership of the Trump administration, demonstrates a common-sense action that maintains the ability of adult consumers to make informed product choices over prohibition. The FDA's proposed rule, which sought to ban flavored cigars and could have extended to characterizing flavors, which otherwise known as, notes when you read a review, like this has chocolate and nuts. So even stuff like that would be, brought into that legal realm. Encompassing premium cigars would have disproportionately impacted small business tobacconists despite ample evidence that these products are enjoyed by adult consumers. PCA has long advocated for a regulatory approach that acknowledges these distinctions, and today's decision is a significant victory for retailers, consumers, and manufacturers of these products. Which Josh put a quote in there saying, "We are grateful to the Trump administration for taking swift action based on sound science and fairness, especially in the second day of the administration. Hopefully, this is an indicator of a new approach with regard to regulatory agencies." Look, I've always made it a point to never really get too political on this show because I don't want to get into that realm of nonsense because I think people just get too wired about it. But just based on what I see here, it sounds like this was a Trump administration thing, which, I mean, I don't care who you voted for when it comes to the cigars and the FDA. Anything that gets done to enhance the cigar experience against the FDA, I'm for obvious reasons. So, hey, it's good in my book. I'm actually, to be honest with you, I was a little surprised to see that. And they're alluding to, this was, a Trump administration thing, and in the second day, you wouldn't really think that flavored tobacco was a priority, considering all the other things that he's been talking about that he wants to do, which, obviously are big things. The FDA and flavored tobacco products, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy that it happened that way, but I'm a little surprised that not only did it happen, but it happened so fast. That was quick. They had that one ready to go. The other thing, which don't let me, if you're still reading that, don't let me take it away from you, but there was another notice that we got regarding nicotine, and I want to say it was this one. Nope, that was the CRA one. There was another one we got, and I don't know if I worked on this story yet, but there was another notice we got regarding the nicotine levels rule. Where the fuck is that? Was that last week? Come on. I know I saw it. Come on. I know, I just saw it. That's back in December. No, there's no way. Where did that email go? Is it already in the trash? We might have put this one out on the website. But there was another one that had to do with the... Where is it? Actually, I think we did. It's on the website. Let me go to the website. There was one that we had regarding the nicotine levels in tobacco products. Where is it? I just did that the other day. Oh, right here. The FDA publishes the nicotine rule. Last week, the United States FDA published its proposed rule to establish a maximum nicotine level for cigarettes and certain other combustible tobacco products. This dramatic action, targeting nearly all combustible tobacco products, aims to reduce the nicotine in those products to non-addictive levels. Vaping products and other non-combustibles would not be affected. Importantly, premium cigars are explicitly excluded from this proposed rule, a decision directly resulting from the lawsuit led by Cigar Rights of America, which successfully overturned the FDA's regulatory oversight of premium cigars. It is important to note that the FDA is currently appealing this ruling. So, first and foremost, premium cigars exempt from the nicotine rule. And then today we find out that the FDA has pulled back on their flavor ban on tobacco products, including flavored cigars. So, good stuff, but in your expert experience, long term, what does this actually mean? I mean, obviously the FDA is not just rolling over and dying. I mean, they circle back. They maybe on this, they're appealing. They'll obviously fight for that. But with the flavor ban, what is your, based on that little bit of information, what is your take? I mean, is this... It seems to me like the FDA just pulled out of it. This seems like, it was ruled upon. So, and they're appealing that, which, you know, they're still going to come after this part of it. But the flavor ban, I mean, are they letting that go? I mean, what is your take on that? Without doing a lot of research.
Yeah, I mean, it's not fair for me to make an opinion about it just because I haven't read everything, but from what we just skimmed, I mean, there's nothing that says the Trump administration is directing that the FDA pull out of regulating flavored. It could just be changing of the guard. They're just pulling out for now.
Yeah.
You know, it very well could be the Trump administration directing them to do it. I mean, nothing. I'm not reading anything published from the FDA. I mean, it's an editorial from the PCA.
Yeah.
And nothing indicates to me that it was specifically stated that the Trump administration is the reason for them pulling out. So there could be numerous reasons. If I'm correct, I think there were arguments for the appeal recently, I think, right? I believe we talked about that before. So that also could influence them pulling out now. But, I mean, as I said when we had Charlie on and everyone else, I think the state issues are more where the focus should be. So I think FDA wins are good because obviously you need it to be federally and state legal.
Right.
But, I mean, Mass is, again, proposing generational smoking ban statewide now.
And now there's two more. I think Indiana proposed it.
So,
and someone else proposed it too.
As I said at that point, I think that's where the issue comes in because it doesn't matter what the federal government says if the states aren't allowing it. So.
Right.
And, I mean, states aren't doing that. They're not pulling out of regulating flavored tobacco. So, I think it's good that at least one area looks like it's taking a common sense approach, but unfortunately that's not gonna trickle down to the states.
Yeah, because I mean, state by state, they can obviously still. I mean, Massachusetts has a statewide ban, as do several other states, which I thought was interesting because when I saw that, I said, "Oh, well, that's nice that, you know, like you said, at the federal level." But then I had remembered. I said, you know, over the last year, we've seen more and more states at the state level introducing it statewide. Massachusetts has done it. I can't name them all, but there's at least a dozen, maybe 24 states in the nation that have already, at least, you know, whether they've passed it or they've at least, you know, introduced the bill, you know, for a statewide flavored ban. I mean, I think California has one, Colorado has one, Massachusetts has one. Rhode Island's just went into effect January 1st. So I think New Hampshire and Connecticut. I think this is New York. New York probably has one. I think so. In this year, I think Connecticut and New Hampshire are the only two states that have flavored tobacco products. But yeah, so I mean, you're right. I mean, state-wise, the states that are doing it federally, it's obviously great because there's going to be a lot of states that they're not going to do that, so it kind of protects it from them. And then you can have the states where, I mean, you look at them and you're like, well, they're going to do it just because of a lot of issues, and you just know they're going to do it. So you're right. There's not much you can really do unless you get in the states and you're there doing it, which good luck. Some of those states, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much all we have so far. I think that it'll be interesting to see how the next 4 years go with this administration regarding the FDA. So we'll see what happens. I'm based on conversations I've had with. This is not me making an opinion based off of my political beliefs. This is a statement I've made off of the discussions that I've had with people who pay far more attention to this and specific administrations. The gist I get from people is that the Trump administration is not necessarily pro-cigar, but we could see it not being as difficult during his administration to do certain things. That is the gist I've gotten from people I've spoken to. I don't stay up on this stuff as much as I'd like to because it's a lot. It's kind of its own animal to get into and cover all the time. But so far, 2 days in, that's what we've seen and heard, and those are the things that other people have told me based on their analysis of his administration and the things that they've discovered about some of his policies and maybe the way he leans, and how they're going to affect the FDA, and specifically how that trickles down to what we do here in premium cigars. So it's going to be an interesting 4 years. Nothing's a given. That he could do things that do affect us negatively. It could be so, but regardless, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. And so far, we've done okay with the FDA, but we're not out of the woods yet. And then, like you said, but it's state level too. So I think here in the great state of New Hampshire, I think we're going to be okay for a little while, at least. But we'll see. You gotta keep the people out. New Hampshire. We got it good here, tobacco-wise. That's, we got no tobacco tax. We got flavored tobacco. We got everything. We got no sales tax. We have no sales tax or tobacco tax. Just think about that. Most of the states out there where you live, think about, you go to your cigar shop, you got to pay tobacco tax, you got to pay your sales tax. Imagine buying all of your cigars at or pretty fucking damn close to MSRP and you pay absolutely no taxes on it. You probably jizz in your pants, right? Yeah, that's what it's like to live in the state of New Hampshire. It's awesome.
There's one issue in New Hampshire that came up, but...
What happened?
Well, I need to...
You didn't research it enough?
Well, no, I did. I just need to see if I can talk. That'll be a next week thing.
You don't have the energy?
I just gotta make sure I can talk about it.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, look into that and circle back, because now I'm intrigued. I saw you pulling the cord there, and I was worried that you were going to pull something out again.
I don't know.
Yeah. Are you doing okay still? I'm checking in on you. I've been concerned.
I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one of my one day out of the year that I'm just going to be a potato.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're pretty potato-like. You know who I'm going to hear about it from? Pat Coop. So we're like, what's going on with Pat? It's kind of quiet on the show tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, it's...
I'll be like, I don't know. Kid showed up and just didn't have much to say.
Long week.
Yeah, it was a long week. I had a long week too. Yesterday, you don't even want to know what I was thinking yesterday. By the time I got to bed, I didn't have a cigar yesterday. I didn't stay up past 8:30 yesterday. That I was so tired and miserable and pissed off at the world because of so many things that did not go right yesterday with just my other businesses. I was like, you know what? Fuck this day. I'm just gonna go to bed. Like, no cigar. I didn't stay up late. Just, you know what? I'm going to bed. I'm just done. I didn't even eat dinner. I was like, no. I'm just done. I went right to bed. Rolled over. Got in. Rolled over. Nicole still had the TV on. I was like, I'm done. I wasn't even really necessarily tired. I was like, I'm done. That's how sucky yesterday was. I hated yesterday with a passion. Today was better. Not my favorite day, but it was better. So I feel you. But it's only Wednesday. If you're already done by Wednesday, man, I don't even want to know what your day's going to be like tomorrow. At least you have Friday off. Thank God, for your sake. Oh my God. I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, dude, you're going to have a rough day tomorrow. I can already tell. Friday, for the grace of God, I hope that you get caught up because you just, I don't know, you got to get something going here.
I will. It'll be caught up.
Yeah. Next week? Actually, not next week because I won't be here. Unless you want to come over here and do the show by yourself, which you're always more than welcome to. This is your dungeon too. But whenever your next show is, a couple of bumps. I don't know. Whatever you got to do. I mean, just something. I can give you some Vyvanse. I have Vyvanse.
I'll be locked in for the next one.
I have some Vyvanse. I mean, just saying, it helps.
Yeah, nah, it'll be good.
Just saying, it works. I try not to take it every day, but I should take it because it does help me with my situation. I didn't take it today actually. I was so busy that I had to get out of here. I didn't take my Vyvanse today. And I felt it. I was like, I'm off. I can't get locked in. And it throws you off. Let me tell you, it fucks up your whole day. You're like, And you can't just take it later because then then it fucks you up late at night and you can't sleep and you're like, I shouldn't. You have to take it early, do your day, and then let it crash, and then you settle into sleep at like 10 o'clock and you're good. Can't take it at 10 or 11 o'clock. It's too late. It fucks up your day. Anyway, that's a me problem, not a you problem. Don't worry. But anyway, we'll wrap it up there. I'm not drag you through the mud anymore. I didn't even get to finish my cigar because of you. I blame you for that. Did you even finish yours? Where is it?
I did.
Did you? Damn.
Yeah.
Smoked that all the way down to the nub. That was quick.
Yep.
That was quick. All right. Well, anyway. Saka Roulette. You guys got 2 more weeks. Go to smokingtobacco.com. Contact us page. Submit your roast of Saka. Gonna pick the best guy or girl. Pick the best winner. You're gonna get a box of DTT and a DTT mug. Maybe, maybe not. Trying to get Saka to come on very soon to participate in one of these. I really wanted to get him on for this first one, but this first part of the year is incredibly difficult for everybody because they have so much going on. But I'm hoping maybe next month we get Saka on for this, so that he kind of gets involved with it too. And it's Steve, so it doesn't matter what the contest is or whatever the situation is, having him involved in anything, especially if it's related to his own brand, he's going to go nuts for. So I will give you guys updates on when we make that happen. But anyway, stay tuned. We'll be doing a little bit of coverage from TPE that I will bring you from Las Vegas next week. And then after that, we come back, we will do our Saka Roulette show. And more to come after that. So take care, everybody. Get some rest. And we'll see you next time.